tell you about here. With plenty of room left over to store your most important documents. Imagine if a megavirus or a computer failure took out your bank, or all the banks for that matter. Are your banking records safe in your hands? So when they get things fixed and repaired, you can say, hey, look, this is what I had. You have it. I want it back. Is your personal data safe? Family records, addresses, phone numbers? Well, squeeze on over to freedomslips.com. Yes, that's www.freedomslips.com. Click the banner on the homepage for the EMP-proof bullet drive to get the full scoop of everything that we offer. So, folks, keep your data safe for your peace of mind. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Would be me, Wild Bill Samsel, your host of the Samsel Report. Join me for Wild Bill's Headline Roundup every Saturday night, right here on Revolution Radio.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. If you plan to call in and speak with one of our hosts, please turn down your radio and separate yourself from any background noise and wait for the area code to be called on before you speak. And don't forget, Revolution Radio freedomslips.com is listener supported. So stop by the homepage, freedomslips.com, visit the site support area to help support the host you're listening to's airtime. Thank you. Revolution Radio freedomslips.com, where the truth never sleeps.
We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week.
Yes.
But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting.
Yes, I see.
By a civil majority in the case of purely internal affairs.
Be quiet.
But by a 2/3 majority in the case of
Be
more
quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look. Just a flesh wound.
I don't believe I've seen such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, stupidity.
I'll do you for that. Oh, what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible.
You're a loony.
The Black Knight always triumphs.
Welcome one, welcome all, and it is that time for Roundtable Live here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Be rolling on till 4 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. New ideas, different hosts every night, different subjects every night. You never know what's going to happen right here at the Roundtable Live. King Arthur has nothing on us. We're going round and round.
All right, we're on. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. All of you that have been listening into the previous discussion with all those hosts, I was listening in. It was pretty interesting stuff, and I'm sure we're probably going to touch on those things again. And I think those guys, if you guys are hanging around, you're welcome to come back in and join us. I'm here right now with Just in Time and Jer Bear, and they are helping me out because this is the first time I've ever had to manage one of these roundtables, so I need you guys to kind of hold my hand and make sure I don't screw it up. But anyway, here we are, Revolution Radio Studio A. I'm in California. It's 11:05, 2 a.m. over there on the East Coast. So Just in Time and Jer Bear are both on the West Coast too. So we're gonna bring you guys into the morning. Anyway, I want to as far as I know, the call-in number tonight for Studio A is the usual 347-688-2902. And we're going to welcome anybody that wants to get involved and call in. You guys can call in anytime you want. And we also have a Skype number. If somebody could put that up on the chat for me or on the message board, then I can read that off to everybody so we can get some Skype callers in here too. Revolution Radio is listener-supported radio, and we've got 10 days till the end of the month, and we're actually we're doing pretty good, you guys. We need we need a few more $100 to break even. So hopefully, some of you out there listening will help out. And Hawk has a lot of good stuff to offer. You know what I was thinking? Hawk, he played his CD today. He just released an album, and I was listening to that today, and I thought it was pretty darn good. And he's saying, "Oh, the vocals suck and all this." And I'm thinking, "What do you mean? This sounds really good. This is really professional stuff." And I'm thinking maybe Hawk ought to, give out CDs with some of these contributions. I don't know, Hawk. You guys, what do you guys think? You think that sounds like a good idea?
I thought it sounded excellent.
Did you listen into his to his debut of that album today?
Yes, I did. And
did you hear he had like 120,000 people listening in on that on his Hawk's Nest? That's pretty impressive, huh?
Yeah, he was over in Facebook. I was helping him in Facebook myself, bringing in some of my friends. Yeah, it was well mixed too. It wasn't too rockish. It wasn't too metalish. It was excellent.
Yeah, exactly. There was a good combination of rock and country going on there, and it was pretty darn good. So I'm impressed. And I'll tell you, for me it was inspirational. I thought, oh my God, if he can do that, that makes me want to do something like that. He made it sound. He makes it look easy, I think. What do you think, just in time? I hear you're typing away.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the numbers up here. And no, I listened to it. I thought it was very good. I thought it was good mixture. There was there was a little hard rock in the genre there. Then there were a couple that were slower. There were a couple that kind of had a country sound to them. I really liked it. I thought it was a good mix. And yeah, I think for, whatever, if he's going to release it next month, I think, right before Thanksgiving or whatever, make it a Thanksgiving special. Everybody that donates $40 or more gets a free copy of the new release of Echoes.
Well, we can certainly help him promote it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of promotion, what else did I want to try to promote tonight? I know what it was. You guys that are listening that haven't ever been in the chat room, you need to go in the chat room and check it out. We have a very exciting chat room with a lot of interesting characters in there, and you want to join in there and see what's going on and meet some of these people. That's a good way to meet the hosts and meet a lot of our loyal listeners. So, we got a couple people trying to get in. Go ahead, let them in. We're ready. Oh, I noticed the Facebook page, the Revolution Radio Facebook page, just passed 1,500 likes. How about that?
Oh, wow.
Woohoo! Have you guys have you tried to promote that thing? Because I think we all need to promote that Facebook page.
I don't do Facebook.
Okay.
Any of you callers out there need to keep your shorts on and give me a chance to answer the phone when you call in.
Well, we want to remind anybody that does call in to turn off the sound, for the program if you're listening to it, so we don't have all kinds of weird background noise. And when you do sign in, please kind of keep silent until we call upon you. It doesn't work when you come on and we have to start talking over each other. But so far so good. We could have up to 12 people, I think, on this roundtable, right?
Oh yeah, even more.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, lots of interesting things to discuss. The guys were just talking about aliens and nanotechnology and radiation and all this, and it's like, I was listening and I'm ready to dive in, but oh God, I talked to Patty Broussard today, and I know you guys know about her, and she's heading off to Canada right now. So if that's any kind of an indication of something coming this way, that's something to keep an eye on. Something else that's going on. I've got this show coming up here Thursday, which is going to be very, very controversial. I'm supposed to have this Dr. Bill Weld guy on, and this is the guy who... Okay, I see how it is. Come on, you guys, get me back in. Wow. Crap. Wow, what happened there, guys?
I'm not sure.
I just added the caller to the group, and I don't know. It went on hold. I didn't click answer. I clicked add to group.
That was pretty wild.
And it's not going to work now because somebody else started the call, and the phones are forwarded it to you. So.
All right. Well, for those of you who are listening, this is I should be trying to produce this myself, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm fortunate to have this guy's helping. Did
I get the producer when I came back? I don't know.
You got the little red phone next to you. Does that make you producer?
I don't know. I just came back. I dropped and came back in, and Justin was floating in. Anyway, sorry about the hiccup. We're here. roll with it, Steve.
Well, let me just finish what I was just saying here real quick. Anyway, this Bill Weld guy is supposed to be on the show, and a lot of if you guys have been following the little controversy, it's generated some controversy because there's a lot of people out there that think this guy's a hoaxer and what have you, and he's all about the chemtrails and the nanobots, and he released a paper called Domestic Quell, and this was having to do with a pseudo flu type thing that was going to be involving the virus that were going to be being sprayed on us via the nanobot or the chemtrails. Extremely controversial, scary subject. And again, a lot of people have been saying that this guy is a fraud, and that thereby that means that his information he's putting out is fraudulent also. And needless to say, I say that it's not fraudulent. The information is not fraudulent. We're gonna be talking about it, but whether or not he actually comes on the show remains to be seen, because I have yet to get his Skype account or even a phone number. But he promises to be on the show. But at this point, the subject is going to be on chemtrails, regardless of whether or not he shows up. So I think that's a real important subject. You guys have any opinions on that stuff?
Well, I know my community, my community has been very clear of blue skies. I haven't seen a chemtrail.
Well, you're right. Yeah. Over the LA area, we've had blue skies for at least the last 3 days or so, right?
I've had it for like 3 weeks, and I'm not too far from you. It's just been totally very pretty skies. It amazes me. What was that gentleman's name again, Steve?
Dr. Bill Weld, W-E-L-D. But there's been, he's released this information, and there's been a bunch of people that have gone on YouTube and made videos suggesting that this guy's a phony and this and that, and they're having trouble locating information to prove that this guy is real. And I had Carrie Cassidy on my show last Thursday, and we were talking about this guy, and she's of the opinion that it's very common for the spooks, the NSA, CIA types, to erase people's documentation of their history to kind of turn them into a non-person. So it's not, out of the completely unreasonable that his documentation that would verify his past would be missing. But either way, I'm going to follow through with this. A lot of people said, don't have this guy on. He's a phony, da-da-da. You're going to be spreading misinformation. But I say BS. I think I can judge that. I'm going to listen to the guy, and he's either going to prove that he's a real thing to me, or I'm going to have to denounce him. But either way, what's important is this whole issue of these chemtrails. And the last thing we need is some disinformation person to get out there and talk about the truth, and because they have a rotten reputation, they make the truth look like it's not valid. And I'm seeing that seems to be a reoccurring theme now with with how these guys, these disinfo agents, are handling truth. Is they'll take somebody that they know to be uncredible or has lack of credibility, and they'll use that person to actually spout the truth, and it soils the truth, and people think, oh, that's all BS because that guy's a total fraud. Anyway, so we're in war. That's kind of hurting the truth movement, and especially us here on the alternative media. We gotta kind of watch out with some of these guests that we have.
Excuse me. Have you heard of Scott Stevens?
Oh, the name sounds familiar. Why don't you remind us?
Well, we interviewed him on another show I was producing probably a year ago, and he was a weatherologist for many years, and he's got a lot of good research on HAARP. I mean, not HAARP, but chemtrails.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I can get a hold of him for you, and you could have him guest appear on that show for you if you're interested.
I would certainly like you to do that. Whether or not he comes in on this particular show or we have him on another one, it's all good because that's an important subject and it's going to take a long time to really cover all that. But
well, just if you want to have him join me with that doctor, we'll talk about that and see if we can swing it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Why don't you look into that and see if you can do it?
Okay. I sure will.
So how are we doing with the callers? What happened to all our fellow hosts? They must have all gone to bed. Are those all East Coast guys or what?
I have no clue.
No, they're all talking about it in the chat room, and I don't know what happened. I think the best thing to do is all three of us hang up. We'll start this all over again because we know the phones and Freedom Screen is forwarded to me, and we'll start this all over.
All right, everybody. We'll be right back in about a moment.
Thank you.
We'll be right back in a minute. All right. Sorry about that, folks. That didn't take too long. Let me get Mr. Stephen D. Kelly back in here, and we'll get Jared Bear back on the call. And
so far, so good, huh?
I'm producing again. The numbers and the name should work again. That would be 347-688-2902. Or if you're on Skype, just put Freedom Screen into the contact, and we can get you in that way, too. That'll take about 30 seconds.
That wasn't bad, huh? Oh, my gosh, you guys. Well, we're allowed some fumbling here tonight. You guys can blame it on me, and All right. So that damn Stephen Kelly, he's an amateur.
You're missing your Ed McMahon.
I like it. At least I don't get the blame all the time. Thanks for
You guys are here to hold my hand so I don't look bad. At least don't look that bad. Right. I'm disappointed. I want those other guys to come in here. Come on, you guys. I know you're in there.
Listen, come on, Eastern boys, let's call. Australia.
No, I know. I've got a bunch of people listening. Friends of mine on Facebook and whatnot from different parts of the world, and I think if let's get that Skype number up there because I think that's where most of these the people outside of the U.S. have got to use the Skype to call in.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So that's freedomscreens.com. Is that it? Freedom Screens at Skype?
Not plural. Freedom
Screen. Okay.
Freedom Screen.
Okay, the word freedom and screen, SCREEN.
All one word.
All one word.
Or you can call 347-688-2902.
Yeah. But anyway, it's wide open tonight. We can discuss whatever, you guys have anything on your mind that you feel like talking about tonight? We want to bitch about Obama? Let me see. No, let's see. How about
I'm trying to.
I've been getting in trouble. Let me tell you guys, and I know you're probably noticing it, but the Mercury Retro just started 2 days ago. And it's already sucks. Let me tell you. I don't like it.
Really?
So I'm going to blame everything on the Mercury retrograde.
Everybody I know seemed to have a pretty good day today.
Well, must be nice. Jeez. No, I just live to be on this station. I'll tell you guys. That's all I do. I just stay alive until the next show.
Oh, I knew that, Stephen.
You knew that, huh?
The funny thing is, with with all these things going on, I get the biggest kick, Stephen, how these, whatever, people out there, kids, old folks, whatever, one after another, if something is over, whatever it be, possible war to Syria, or, oh my God, government shutdown, or, you know what, whenever it's over, they start looking for something new. Why the hell is everybody in such a hurry to die?
The latest distraction, huh?
I swear. And they fall for it every time, and they can't get it through their stupid thick heads. Remember, the big boys, they got their sticky fingers in your cyberspace, and you know what? They know where you hang out now and where to drop the story to get your attention.
Well, I'll tell you,
Okay,
you guys,
call.
you guys
Two
can
group.
relate. You guys can relate. Oh, we got a caller. Before I
see.
tell you to jump in there, caller, the Fukushima thing. I mean, we're on the West Coast. We're getting it right now. Those of us here in California, we're getting it. I don't even want to put my feet in the water when I go to the beach. But
I wouldn't even go to the beach.
yeah, it sucks. But I'll tell you, we're hearing today now that Russia is finally stepping in and is offering to help the Japanese deal with this. And obviously with their experience with Chernobyl, I think they're certainly the naturals. And I'm thinking that the reason why nobody is really jumping in to help out is because they don't want to die. Whoever is actually working on these things is going to die. When you see those guys in Tokyo at TEPCO over at the power plant, trying to control the wastewater and what have you with their little white suits and gas masks and hard hats. I mean, come on. They're sacrificing their lives. Anybody that's anywhere near that reactor is not going to be living much longer. So it's going to take a real sacrifice. Somebody's got to get in there and do something. Just bury it under a mountain of lead or something, graphite, whatever it was they did to Chernobyl. They need to do the same thing, but we're screwed. So... But they were talking about how to deal with the radiation, and I know I don't remember the name of the host, but he was talking about using nanotechnology to deal with the radiation. And I'll tell you, it's all about scalar. We talk about that a lot on my show, and I'm going to be talking about that Thursday. But I firmly believe that we do have the technology to remove that radiation, but they're not going to do it. All right, let's get 604 area code in here. What's your name? Who are you? And hello.
Good evening, gents. Good morning for most of us. This is SJ.
Hey, SJ. How you doing?
Pretty good. I've been studying radiation and everything associated with it since 1957. I did my first radio show talking about radioactivity in nuclear particles. So I've been keeping track of what's going on there. A lot of the information is not accurate. We really need to get a lot more specific. But more importantly than that, we've really got to start exploring all the ways of reducing the risk to expectant mothers and children from radiation. Basically, what there is, for one, people talk about safe amounts of radiation. It's ridiculous. There is no such thing as a safe radioactive particle. All of them, when they're ingested, will start destroying your cells. They specifically will destroy your DNA, and they will destroy the DNA in everything that has DNA, and that's currently what's going on. So that's the magnitude of the threat. Over.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, and I think if you look at what's going on in Fallujah right now, with all the babies being born deformed, I'd be scared to death for mothers in California to be having babies. How long?
Remember we had the same effect with the depleted uranium rounds that we were throwing around, and you can see the evidence of 10 years ago now, and it's ugly.
Karma's a bitch, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing. We should be spending a lot more time doing a lot of things. And one of them is we got to get John Hutchison on here. I think he's got an interesting approach to radiation medicine. Hopefully. Mm-hmm. A lot of people put him down. Well, I'll tell you, he is a kamikaze scientist. When he was working with his experiments, he was doing that without any kind of protection. And I'm going, God, we're amazing. Such a kamikaze researcher is still alive.
A real Madame Curie, huh?
Well, you know, Tesla offered to cure Marie Tesla's radiation poisoning, and that's another little avenue that I've only heard 2 mentions in 3 years of listening for somebody to discuss it. See, 3 years ago, I wasn't listening to any of Art Bell's stuff or a lot of the New Wave alien researchers, or even the wonderful talks we've had with physicists. But Tesla came with that in the turn of the century, in 1920s, I believe, is when he offered it.
Well, let me just respond on that real quick. You know, Tesla was also the guy that basically discovered or rediscovered the effects of the scalar waves. So certainly, he would certainly be the one to be able to manipulate those wave fronts to cancel out the wave front of the radiation. So yeah, clearly that is the answer. But you think our government is even gonna act like that sort of technology exists? I mean, my God, they're using that against us right now.
Certain elements certainly want to weaponize it, but you can't forget that there's other elements of people that are just as actively trying to get the positive out of it. You can't forget that, man. It's important. If you get your brain paranoid, you can't be effective. You can't really analyze the threat, for one thing, you know.
Well, somebody in the chat room made a very good point. They were asking about whether or not a Rife machine would be able to deal with this. And
John Hutchison.
Yeah, okay. Well, a Rife, the Rife machine is a scalar device. There's a lot of devices out there right now that we refer to as radionics, and I've talked about radionics quite a bit. So certainly the radionics technology is our big hope. And again, the government is certainly using the radionics in the negative ways right now, and they're afraid that to even allow the masses to get too far with that technology.
I'll tell you, one of the things I am looking for is to see how nature responds to it. You know, we've got mushrooms that can deal with radiation. That's encouraging. We've got plants that are doing the same. We're becoming more aware of how it's getting into the ecosystem and what its effect is. It'll be pretty interesting. So we're still able to get around and figure this out. We got some time.
Well, I hope people don't think that we're going to be turning into superhero mutants. You know,
I would hope so.
Well, wouldn't that be nice, huh?
Yeah, I want to be. I don't know. What would you like to? What superhero would you like?
Oh my God! Let's see. Which is the best one, huh?
Well, you got to invent a new one and a costume to go along.
Well, the blue girl that turns into any one of the other ones. I mean, my God, that's got to be the best one, right?
Oh yeah, it is very powerful.
All right.
Well, you know, ideas. Look, I've had a theory for a long time. The thought, and backed up by many thinkers, is not a new idea that I came up with, but there's evidence that thought affects your reality. And what we are is experimenting with at what level we can have an effect. And I'm trying to aim it in a positive direction so that people have the energy and the mental attitudes to deal with these incredible challenges.
Well, yeah, that's manifesting. You know, and to take that one step further, I like to try to talk to people about expanding their psychic skills and enhancing that your aura and your energy, your energetic body. And I certainly believe that if we do, get our pineal glands opened properly and everything's working properly.
They're currently getting trashed right now with some of the
aluminum.
Oh, baby. Hey, let's talk about that for a while. Are you familiar with telepathy?
Of course.
So have you experienced it yet?
Well, I am a psychic, so I guess so, yeah.
Well, I've experienced actual telepathy twice in my life. I've prepared myself when I was a teenager for it, hoping it would happen, and actually had it happen twice. It's not as intimidating. Well, at first, I think that's probably why most people who really have the ability inherently don't indulge in it, because it's scary. The first time you realize that people are aware of what you're thinking of, it's a shock. And getting past that shock is one of the big things you need to teach people about encountering random telepathy in the wild, in a non-laboratory environment. But it is out there. I've been involved with it twice, for real. And I'd be really more than interested in teaching people what I know about it. There is a discipline, a mental discipline. First of all, you've got to be absolutely honest about who you are to yourself.
Well, that's a Zen thing, yeah.
There's also another important thing to know, too. People can't go into the depths of your mind unless you take them there. I have to speak in terms of my own experience. It was only the surface thoughts that we were using. We could go further into a person's mind, and we did slightly. But really, there's a natural hesitance in human beings to do that. What you really experience, or what I've experienced in those two times, was a telepathic conversation about what was going on then and what they were thinking about in terms of their agenda, in this case, in one of the cases at least.
Well, what about our Navy Yard shooter? We could say that was kind of a negative aspect of it, and that's mechanical, right?
What was the story? I never got a straight run on that. What do you think happened?
I think that he was certainly under the influence of a mind control. He was that's pretty obvious. I mean, nobody's arguing that we have that capability to do that. And there's different. They call it voice to skull communication, that kind of thing.
Yep. They've been doing it for a while. It is a fact.
Yeah, and I think
we've got so much. My telepathy.
Dave, before you go on, our host has a couple of questions from the chat room.
Right. Let me see. We're looking at this. Dr. Abraham Karim and biogeometry. That one I cannot answer. Another person was asking about Patty's predictions. And, I'm not going to say anything negative about Patty, because I'm a firm believer that when we start talking about these things, that we alter the course of the future.
Yep.
So, like, for instance, she was talking about these atomic blasts going off in the ocean and causing these earthquakes and stuff like that. Well, we did have one go off here just off the coast of South Carolina. I mean, they did register an earthquake. We've had, 3 nuclear bombs gone missing. All these high-ranking generals in charge of the nuclear arsenal getting canned. So there's stuff going on, and
fun and games.
Yeah, us talking about it is basically stifling all of these things, and this is why they hate alternative radio so much.
You know what I heard on that, Stephen? I heard the story going around. In fact, I also read it in a couple places that these high-ranking generals were told to set off these nuclear bombs that were buried under South Carolina. They told Obama no, and he fired them, and they went somewhere out in the ocean, and that's where those earthquakes.
What I heard today, because I was talking to Patty today, and what she said was that these things had actually been armed. And this is why they took them off the coast and they dumped them they took them out to the edge of the continental shelf and dumped them overboard.
Mm-hmm.
But supposedly they're getting ready to do one in New York, and the continental shelf is just a little too far out, and they're concerned that they may not be able to get it out far enough, quick enough. So it's almost like Obama pushes the button and these guys got to dump it overboard ASAP before it, causes a real problem.
Well, we can think about that, or we can think about things that we can do. I guess we have to let the maniacs go because we can't stop them personally. But we certainly can stop them with our ideas or with our approach to living and restore some sort of balance, some sort of sanity and equity.
Well, I want everybody to wake up their psychic skills. I think.
Right on.
I mean, okay, I'll tell you guys. If you guys don't know me, I was very big in the military, building weapon systems, and they, I was working with Templars and Bilderbergers and CIA, NSA, and all that.
Well, you've been a bad boy.
Oh, come on now. I'm a good boy now. But the bottom line is...
Yeah, you're just a good to be military,
back
practitioner.
during the Clinton administration, these guys wanted me to come up with some kind of space weapon, some sort of weapon for dealing with aliens and stuff like that. And this is when I realized that psychic skills and psychic energy and that's all there is.
Hey, have you ever are you aware of Fritz Perl?
Oh, another name. You guys are giving me a test tonight. Tell us about Fritz Perl.
We've been at this for a while, and all this stuff for me is, a lot of it is the same old stuff over and over again, and most of it is incorrect. So it's frustrating for me, and what I've been doing is research about group awareness leading to group consciousness, and it's a fascinating possibility that we should actually be working with, and we have. Here at the station, we've done group healing. Art Bell's done episodes similar to it successfully, so much so that it scared him. So I think it's a great potential that's only going to come out if we talk it up. And
SJ, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap.
I know. I was going to get you there on that one too. Jeez, I'm a Reiki healer, a Reiki master. So
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, so that's definitely, there's a lot to it. And, Dr. Emoto, for those of you that know Dr. Emoto, he's been saying, well, Dr. Emoto's the guy that was basically showed how intention can modify matter. He was dealing with water droplets and showing how our intentions affected the water.
Right on.
And he was actually here in California not too long ago, I think it was a year or two ago, and they were having a big thing about healing the oceans. And this was even before Fukushima. So certainly our human ability to manifest reality is going to play a big role for cleaning up what's going on. So, and that's
what they say about intentions, right?
You're going to tell us, right?
No, you're going to tell us.
Well, everything.
I assume that you are educated and familiar with the turf. So
everything is an intention. Information is intention. Magic is intention. In fact, okay, if you want to get to the very bottom of what Dr. Emoto says, these are the two factors, and this is the basis of magic and alchemy and everything, and it is intention and movement. Okay? So if you combine the two things, intention and movement, you can create life, you can manifest, you can do anything. And I'll give you an example. When you speak, the words coming out of your mouth are the intentions, and the waves that you create, those sound waves, that's the movement. When a magician waves his wand and says abracadabra, that's a movement. When you have a petri dish full of amino acids and various biological materials and you swish it around and suddenly stuff starts going to life, that's the movement. So it's all about combining these things.
Well, there is evidence that this is a reality, so that's the beauty of it. I have a sneaking suspicion that if we harness our reality bubbles, we'll be able to create realities.
Well, of course. That's what we're here for.
Well, that's basically what I think.
All right. Well,
we need to stress it more often, probably.
If we're going to do that, people have got to do certain things. Now, when I teach Reiki, there's Reiki principles. And basically, when you teach Reiki, there's certain things that you do, and these are the same things that you do to enhance your psychic power. And a lot of it has to do with living for today. Not necessarily living for today, but don't worry about yesterday. Stop worrying about the future. Control your ego. Be humble. And lose the fear. So I think, the very fact that we're being pumped with fear porn every day is preventing us from exerting that positive energy and those positive intentions to do the healing.
Right on, bro.
We're giving energy to it. Yeah.
Right on.
So come on, you guys. That's what we all got to do. You got to just stop fearing. It's like, oh my God, I had a Bible verse.
It's hard to bust the doom and gloom thing. We've been inoculated with it through our media. We are, in many ways, shaped in our thinking by our media access. So what we are doing currently here is exactly what we should be doing, discussing ways of thinking in a more effective way.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm supposed to be doing this show Thursday, and we're going to be talking about chemtrails, and I'm supposed to have this Dr. Weld on, and he's, doom and gloom and scare the shit out of everybody. Oh, excuse me, guys, but I'll tell you, I want to offer solutions. I hope.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's
not
time
all
that we do that.
Yeah,
it's time that we do that.
SJ, let the man finish it.
Well, okay, there's tools. We have tools. We can look at Wilhelm Reich. We can build orgone devices. An orgone device. In fact, I know somebody who's probably listening right now who just went to Tokyo recently and flew over there and was over there. And I said, bring orgone. Pack, put it in your suitcase, put it in your pocket. Don't get on the plane without that in your pocket because we need it. But you can use tools or you can use your mind. You can use your brain power and your psychic skills to do the same thing. So we've all got to get these skills.
Well, taking a package of borax along with you is a relatively simple way of doing something preventative. It's basically philosophy. Do we approach it like preventative medicine? It's the most effective way of doing it, yet it's commonly not embraced.
Well, I hear you. I mean, that's like taking the iodine, right?
Well, you need Lugol's iodine specifically if you're going to ingest it, and that's that kind of knowledge that we have to make sure we disperse, because people are going to go off in directions like swallowing iodine without getting Lugol's iodine, which is specifically formulated to be able to be ingested in small amounts. Mm-hmm. And how you do it needs to be talked about too sometime.
Well, I want to suggest that everybody look into making orgone devices. I mean, and we don't.
An interesting approach. Eh?
Well, I mean, it can't hurt. At the very least, at the very least, it's a fun little craft project to create some cool little things you can have around your house. But a lot of people look at that and they think, metal shavings and resin with a quartz crystal inside. What the heck is that supposed to do? But the reality is that there's some science there. That's just like the battery technology and capacitor technology. It's the dissimilar materials, and it's pretty high tech stuff. And just because it looks like voodoo does not mean it's not working. So people need to go on YouTube and Google how to make an orgone device, and there's lots of videos, and just make some of those things and keep them in your house and keep them in your car and put one in your pocket and give them to your friends and family. And, if everybody did that, I think we're going to have some survivors.
Well, it's a question of resonance, right? Always has been. We are vibrations,
Well, it's energy. The orgone device is kind of like an air filter for energy. Right on. It kind of sucks it in. The orgone, the resin and the metal shavings, that's an organic and an inorganic material. That's that dissimilar materials concept. It actually absorbs the energy. It has like a radius. I think your average orgone device has something like 25, 50-foot radius of effectiveness. That much? Oh yeah, the bigger they are, the larger the radius. And then the quartz crystal is the actual filter. So you've got, the orgone kind of sucks it up, and it all passes through the quartz filter, and the quartz filter cleans it up. It alters that energy and puts out good energy. So it's a great thing to have around the house just to keep the bad energy from your electronic devices and your EMF radiation and all that. Because, the Fukushima certainly is radiation, but my God, if you have a Wi-Fi in your home and you've got a cell phone up to your head, you're getting irradiated every day anyway. So this won't hurt.
Well, I've been working with the physical side of it, but I also spend a lot of time in my later years here working with the mental attitudes that will let people get through this. And one of the simplest ways I've come up with is to bring out the best in people as much as you can, and in yourself. And there's other approaches to it that work as well. There's other mental disciplines that are going to allow us to think the way we need to think to be able to survive this. And we certainly, knowing that we're under threat is important, but like you were saying, it can interfere with the actual ability to evolve out of this. We're going to have to think our way out of it. I'm convinced that that's going to be the necessity that we need to adapt to.
You always bring out the best in me, SJ, so what are you telling me? I should go out and just buy an old box of 20 Mule Team?
I don't know. I was just recently loading shotgun shells with dimes on.
Oh, my God.
I don't know if I'm exactly the person you want to talk to, but, I try to. I figure it this way. Life is an experience, and we're here to learn. Expose yourself to as much of it as you can handle. And a little bit more.
I think the pennies would work better than the dimes, don't they?
No, the dimes are the right size.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Remember, you're talking about a 12-gauge shotgun, so it's got a bore that's a certain size. You'll figure it out.
That's what you're talking about here.
And it's a full choke.
Okay, I don't know if you guys know, but I am a weapons expert, and all my guns are gone, for the record, and all you NSA guys listening. Yeah,
you gave them all up, right?
Yeah, they're all.
Hey, how long would it take you to make a gun? It'd take me about. I've got all the materials handy. I think it would take me 20 minutes.
I mean, if you look at a darn AK-47, it looks like somebody made it with a file. So yeah, I think.
Well, I love those. I like the new one.
Oh, okay. I'm not into com block. I'm sorry. I had a couple of those things, and I take them apart, and I look at them, and I'm just, ooh, God.
Well, you got to get the good ones.
File marks.
Yes. Okay. Hey, I leave file marks occasionally. Come on, give me a break, man. Can you imagine some poor guy in a factory making that thing,
Oh, God. I've been thinking about making videos about, some of my gun skills. I thought I'd teach people how to take stuff like that. I'm afraid. I'm afraid people are going to look at that and they go, what's Mr. Love and Light Reiki Master doing teaching people how to take down a Glock?
Did you ever see that famous poster of the Seattle mayor flashing that wonderful, beautiful statue of that woman in downtown Seattle? It's called Expose Yourself to Art.
Oh, yeah.
So just tell them you're exposing yourself to reality.
Maybe if I don't have my face in it or something, huh?
That's right. Don't wear your armor. It's scary. Well, I'll tell you, what I really like is something I didn't realize is they really have perfected the stab jacket. Man, there's nothing nastier than a stab. You ever been stabbed?
Thankfully, no. But you're talking about the stab-proof body armor?
Yeah. Well, one of them. Yeah, that's one of them. But basically, they've gotten it to the point where it really works with something thin like a needle, eh?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the ice pick test, right.
Yep, the ice pick test. Boy, I'll tell you, ice pick will do some damage. See, the problem is we've got to walk around with people that are generally healthy, but occasionally there's an exception to the rule. And it's getting pretty frequent that these exceptions to the rule are being talked about.
Huh. Well, you're on the subject of body armor. I just got to make one point here real quick.
Sure.
Whenever you're watching a movie or TV or something, I cannot believe how all these people in these movies and the TV and whatever are not wearing body armor. I mean, my God, if you are in the gun business, you wear body armor, right? I mean, isn't that what you do?
Yeah, basic military prepared.
Yeah.
Military riff. Here's the thing: the military's got a lot more guns than us. We have a lot more people than them. Everything balances out. It's a shame that we have a world so devoted to murder when we need to really be concentrating on survival, eh?
Well, I got to tell you, all these people that think they're going to take their AR-15s and they're going to be able to toss the suckers out. I got to give you guys a big old wake up call, and that is, as long as they have those underground bunkers and as long as they have those tube trains that can get them from New York to California in 30 minutes, there's not a whole lot we can do, because they expect that we're going to fight it out and they're going to go downstairs. Now, you look at a guy like John McCain, and he's saying, I'm going to go run for re-election. Well, why the hell do you think he wants to run for re-election? Because he wants to make sure he's got that bunker condo waiting for him. because he knows once he's out of office, he's not going to be on that priority list to go downstairs.
Bingo.
So unless we have access to those downstairs, there's really not a whole lot we can do about this world government that's underneath us.
I wrote a science fiction story about it once, and the main thing that makes it unique is that the people that are excluded survive, and boy, are they irritated.
Well, that's
Can you imagine?
Kind of biblical.
Can you imagine 40 years after a big boom, and everybody figures, well, we've out-survived them, and they pop out of the hatch. There's a whole bunch of people sitting there tapping their toe, right?
Yeah, we've been waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
hi, welcome back.
You know what I think? I'd like.
By
to
the way,
see
we
this.
have a government and a social situation here. You guys are going to have to adapt to.
Well, maybe we can figure out a way to channel some of the ocean down into their little tubes.
You can do. Look. People don't spend enough time realizing how vulnerable all this stuff is. The economic system is an indicator. Our air and water situation, or pollution, everything about what we're doing exposes us to the reality that all this stuff is teetering on a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
You bet. So you might as well get out your pitons and your good rope and get ready for a heck of a climb, eh?
Jeez. All right.
Hey, you ever done that? You ever go mountaineering?
Mountaineering? That's scary stuff.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'd love, that's definitely something I need to invest in. But right now, I have nothing. I'm living in poverty, you guys. But listen, hey, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Call-in number, 347-688-2902. And again, Freedom Screen is the Skype. We need to get some more people in here.
Hey, how about if I bail out? I'm going to make some popcorn to listen.
All right.
See you later.
Send us some more people. Oh, we got Tony.
Oh, yeah, see? Magic, eh?
Hey. All right, we'll see you in a little bit.
Love you all. See you later. Bye.
Bye. All right, Jer Bear, just in time. You're still here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I got Tony coming in just a few minutes. I think he has something to add to the story.
Is Tony a host or a listener? Or?
He was a former host a while back. I haven't heard from him for a while, so it's going to be a little surprise. Let's see what he has to say.
All right, Tony, you're with us. Say hello. How you doing?
Yeah, might be muted.
Oh, my goodness. Tony, turn your mute off.
Am I on?
You're on.
Hey, Stephen. I really wanted to talk to you again. I don't know if you remember the conversation that we had a while ago, but we actually have a friend in common. I know that you don't know me very well. I'm still a host at Wolf Spirit Radio. My show's Spirit Quest on Friday night.
Okay.
Our friend that we have in common is Cindy Vandriff.
Oh, okay.
It was such a pleasure to meet her, but what I would really like to get back to focusing on is Organite.
Yeah.
Because I've been working with it and since the last December. Mm-hmm. And I've had some remarkable experiences with it. One of the things that I wanted to do is that I actually did a bunch of research, looking at the YouTube videos, looking at what other people were doing with Organite starting probably last November, and I got more and more fascinated with it. Mm-hmm. And I'm a guy who builds radio-controlled model airplanes, so I had all the fiberglass resin and epoxy and stuff and knew how to work with it. And I live in a place in Seattle where it's next to the locks where all the fishing boats come in. So there's a lot of machine shops there, so I knew I had access to all kinds of metal chips, metal shavings, so forth and so on. And I also, at the same time, got pretty fascinated in work with crystals. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of like this nexus of these synchronicities just all coming into my reality, literally. And it wasn't because, I set the intention that this is what I want to do, and let's put all this together. And that's one of the things that I'm finding really remarkable about my journey, this spirit quest that I'm on, is that for whatever reason, it seems like I'm being guided, I guess.
Break time, everybody. Stick around. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
Who owns you? If you're not in control, then someone else is. Join me, Ivy West, for Voices on the Wind, Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern in Studio A. I discuss government, health, metaphysics, suppressed science, universal mysteries, little-known incredible facts, alternative energies, and even more than you can imagine. Won't you join us on Revolution Radio Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern for Voices on the Wind with me, Ivy West.
There are lives in the balance, people under fire, children at the cannons.
Because if your head's in the sand, your tail is a target.
From Amman, Jordan, and streaming globally across the World Wide Web, catch The Fetch every Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time for Inside the Eye Live, intelligent media for the politically aware. Intriguing interviews, live chat, lively discussion, and more. That's Inside the Eye Live, intelligent media for the politically aware every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Gentlemen, this is a test. Moments such as these are matters of faith. To fail is to invite doubt into everything we believe, everything that we have fought for. Doubt will plunge this country back into chaos, and I will not let that happen. Gentlemen, I want this terrorist found, and I want him to understand what terror really means.
Are you aware of all the poisons you face today? From the fluoride in the drinking water to preservatives in the food you eat. Join Sally O'Cordy for Ban Vaccines 2013 as she and her guests inform you of all the toxins you're not aware of, like those in the syringe a doctor offers you as treatment. Mothers are so good about checking food labels for the ingredients in something they're going to fix for dinner. How much do you know about ingredients in the vaccine your child is about to get injected with? Remember, death starts at the end of a needle.
I have worked with the CIA, NSA, Templars, and Bilderbergers. Now I work for you. My show will disclose secrets, science, and esoteric knowledge. Join me, Stephen D. Kelly, for 2 hours every Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on freedomslips.com, Revolution Radio, Studio A. You can also listen to previous shows by going to youtube.com/Free Revolution Radio.
This is Jim Fetzer inviting you to call into Non-Random Thoughts on Revolution Radio Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll all begin with thoughts about the day's events and then invite callers about JFK, 9/11, Senator Paul Wellstone, Sandy Hook, the Boston bombing, Syria, NSA surveillance, Obama, McCain, you name it, I'll take it. This is a show for you to ask questions of me about some of the most complex and controversial issues of our day. I'm looking forward to it, and especially to hearing from you.
That's right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Studio B, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays. Be there, where information never sleeps.
Anti-aircraft guns went into action against unidentified aircraft in the Los Angeles area shortly after 3 a.m. Pacific wartime this morning.
We are far stronger than we were 10 weeks ago.
Zero corners, all hands at your battle station.
You're nervous about your toes. I'll do the mastermind around here.
You who have not seen it do not know what hell looks like from the top.
Bam, check it out every Tuesday and Saturday on Revolution Radio. It's a double dose of the internationally recognized renegade military historian Douglas Dietrich.
You'll stay right where you are till I tell you to move out.
Yeah, that's right. Tuesdays from 10 to midnight Eastern Time. Join Douglas Dietrich as he exposes the truth in hidden history on his show Critical Omissions. And then our human weapon of mass destruction is back once again to take your calls on Saturday Night Firing Lines. Both from 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Only on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here. Revolution Radio. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
That music gets me so excited. I swear, you guys. I hear that. I'm just gets me all worked up. Welcome back, everybody. You know, we're here. We are. We're talking about radiation, orgonite. We're talking about guns. So, and I got people in. I'm watching the guys in the chat, and we're talking. Somebody just brought up the incident in North Hollywood. So before we get back to the love and light and metaphysics and building orgonite, I got to say something about weapon related stuff here, real quick, for all you guys. First of all these people running around buying AR-15s. Get a Mini 14 made by Ruger. That is the most reliable weapon you can have. And trust me, I've been in the desert under horrible conditions with just about everything you could imagine, and the only gun that did not fail was a Mini 14, and they're cheap. You don't need to go spend $1,000, $1,200 on an AR-15. You can spend a couple $100 on a Mini 14, and it's going to be just as good. Okay, that said, back to that North Hollywood.
Is that a rifle weapon or? Right.
Mini 14 is a .223 caliber rifle, typically 30-round magazine capacity. It looks like the old M14, and that's why they call it the Mini 14. It's a wooden stock gun. It's, they have a version called the Ranch rifle, and I'll tell you, it's here in California. It used to be the Mini 14 was the politically correct way to go. It wasn't the ugly black gun. It had wood, but when it gets down to it, it's going to outshoot the AR-15, and it is not going to fail in the field. Your AR-15 will fail. So you guys want to save some money? You're still looking for guns? You can't find an AR-15? Go get yourself an AR. If it comes to handguns, you cannot beat a Glock. Okay, I'm a Glock man. A lot of people swear by Colts and what have you, but the Glock is the way to go. It is a tool. You can throw it on the concrete and smack it around, use it as a hammer. I don't care. You're not going to hurt it. You're going to take a Sig Sauer or a Colt 911. You drop it on the concrete. You're not going to be too happy. So trust me, that's what you want to go. Now, talking about these guys in L.A., I'll tell you, when I was in the business back when that happened, and one of my associates was involved with making replacement parts for the AK-47s, so that they could convert some of these weapons to the weapon style, the stocks and the pistol grips and what have you. And when all that went down, they came to us. They came to all of us in the community, and they were looking for answers. But I'll say one thing: those guys that were involved in that shootout, what they used to do is they would go to the gun shows, and they would find the old, used, out-of-date police soft body armor, and they'd buy these old vests, these old vests that the cops would dispose of after they supposedly expired. And I remember they'd take these things and they would actually wrap them on their body with duct tape. And they'd take like a vest, a front panel of a vest, and they'd twist it around their arm or twist it around their leg, and they'd secure it with duct tape. And that's why these guys were covered with all that armor. So LAPD, you guys were responsible for putting all that used body armor on the market and giving those guys that armor. And as far as tactics go, and I'll tell you, this obviously I was very much involved in that whole business. And I'll tell you, for a couple of days after that event in North Hollywood, the powers that be were scared to death. That was the first time anybody really went toe-to-toe with them, and they didn't know what to do. And now you see all these cops running around with M16s and what have you. That was the result of that. But I'll tell you, had those guys charged forward, and instead of hiding behind cars and what have you, it would have been a different story. And don't get me wrong, those two that took the fall and that got taken out, they were not the only ones. There was at least two guys that got away. And if you remember, there was a Apache helicopter. I don't know, those of you guys, I'm sure you guys remember that in L.A. when that happened. There was an Apache helicopter flying around the freeways looking for the guys that got away. So they don't talk about that. But let me tell you, that really gave the powers that be a taste of what they have to look forward to, and it scared them.
Well, that's why I brought that LA shooting. Just what Tony made me put that to my mind with talking about the lead, and that's kind of like brought it into focus. But yeah, that was awesome, boy.
Well, we certainly don't want to condone anything like that, but and I'll tell you, all those people in the vicinity, it's just a miracle that there weren't dead people all over the place with all the ammo that was being sprayed in every direction, AK-47 and 223 and what have you. And of course they had those big 100-round magazines. But all right, hey, we got somebody join us. New caller, Ron Ship. Say hello and join us.
Oh, it's Night Owl, but hey.
Oh, okay, Night Owl. I'm going to call you Ron.
Either way, it doesn't matter. Lady, horse, and son. So.
Oh. All right. Well, what have you got to add, Ron? What do you want to tell us?
I just wanted to ask you, what was your indirect involvement in all this?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, my indirect involvement was that I was very closely here in the gun community around here is a relatively tight community. There's very few FFLs in Southern California. Okay, and I was one of the few FFLs. In fact, in Anaheim, where I was situated, I think I was maybe one of two FFLs. And I was very closely working with a lot of the other players. So like these weapons that these guys were using were highly modified, and the parts that they used to modify these things were coming from friends of mine. And so, people I was working with closely. So we were all under scrutiny. Everybody wanted to know where their stuff came from. Fortunately, they didn't have any of my lasers, or I would have had them harassing me. But I knew a lot of the guys that I was very close to in the industry were getting interrogated after that incident took place. So, yeah, that was my involvement. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, that answers the question right away. I just was like wowed by you saying that. And I was like, what did you do? Write the plan for the boys that went out there and tried to rob Bank of America or what?
No, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if they came by my table and looked at my stuff, because I used to do those gun shows. I was at every single one of them in Southern California. And I'll tell you, you got thousands of people walking by your table all weekend. I mean, in one weekend, you get 10,000 people walk by your table, and I'm sure they had, all of them probably were by there at one time or another.
Yeah, that's really strange. It really freaked me out to hear that at first. I was like, what the heck's going on? What was this? So I was just like wondering.
I'll tell you, I was a player. I was a player and all that stuff, and I got accused of a lot of things. People thought I was a mercenary. I was involved with some projects involving South Africa back in the apartheid days. And obviously I did a lot of work with the CIA and the NSA guys, and just about every special, oh my God, I'll tell you, just about every special group was using my stuff. And this was back before 9/11, back before fighting terrorism was considered fashionable. But yeah. And now I don't even want to have anything to do with it.
Wow. Yeah, myself, I don't own a gun at all. Not one.
Good karma.
Well, it's either if I had a bow, I'd go out and shoot, go out and hunt. That's the only way I would hunt. But I would not own a gun because it draws attention to oneself.
Well, live by the sword, die by the sword. You gotta choose. I mean, certainly, if FEMA was bashing down my door, I gotta choose. Do I want to resist, or do I want to go quietly? Who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Rick Martinez has joined us. Hello, Rick.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
Good. What's up tonight with you?
Oh, not too much. I just wanted to say hello to Justin and say hello to y'all, and S-Jam sure is still listening.
Hey, this is Ricky. What's up, Ricky?
Not much. How you doing?
Doing great, man. How you been?
I've been doing real good. A lot better.
That's good. That's good.
What do you think about the subject matter tonight? Is there anything you want to add to any of this?
Well, not the current subject.
Okay, I don't blame you. Let's get off it.
No, that current subject is a particularly touchy one. I don't.
We're only dabbling in it for a minute. I was kind of tempted to. People are talking about this stuff, and it's kind of hard to hold back. I still dream about that stuff. To be honest with you, I had a dream about weapons last night. It's crazy. I mean, I had to assemble an M16 in my dream last night, and it was like I just couldn't do it. It was like I was missing parts or something. So I don't know what that means.
A feeling of being incomplete. Something's not complete, obviously.
I don't know. I think sometimes when you do stuff like that, it's like it's like an astral thing, and you're doing some sort of a warfare, astral warfare. I know I got a lot of buddies. When I was doing that super soldier thing, everybody's talking about their astral soldiering, and I began to think, oh my God, is that what I've been doing every night? So
it's pretty scary because I still do it in my sleep, and I still dream of putting firearms together, and that's about all I do now.
Or you have a dream and you're trying to shoot something and it just won't fire and you can't. Why I pull the trigger but nothing happens? What's wrong? That's a nightmare, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Tony has joined us again, and he's come back and he's got a picture of him with a big old piece of orgone in front of him, an orgonite structure. But Tony, before you start talking about that, I want to bring up something real quick.
Yes.
I did a show on radionics a little while back with Karen Ann McDonald and Jerry Avalos,
Fantastic show.
Do you remember that? Yeah. And
yes.
One of the things that we talked about, and it's really important from a future technology standpoint, is the introduction of scalar programmed holograms into the orgone. Did you remember that?
Yes.
So I really think there's something to that. And I didn't intend to come on the show tonight and give those guys a commercial, but if you're interested in looking into what they're doing, there's a website. It's called theholotree.com, one word, the hollow, H-O-L-O, tree, T-R-E-E.com. They have some technology that is intended to fight chemtrails and do all sorts of interesting magical things. And people need to look into that because it's cheap, and it's just understanding how that stuff works and getting familiarized with this up and coming technology. I think is really important for us culturally to so that we can embrace these things and use them to protect ourselves and our families. Now, you want to talk about some orgone a little bit more?
Actually, this is a perfect segue because when I caught that show, I went to the Holotree and ordered a couple of their products. I'm going to tell him he owes me a kickback now. Geez. Okay. The reason I did that is that from experience, I know this stuff works in making the orgonite, and I actually ordered their little orgonite thing that you put in your car to improve your gas mileage and lessen your emissions.
Yeah, that totally works. I'm a believer, yeah.
Yes, and I've been running around with an eighth of a tank for about a week now in my van.
I drive an F-350 with a 470 cubic inch motor, and I haven't had a tune-up in 4 or 5 years, and I just got a smog check the other day, and just about everything registered almost zero.
Yeah, so the reason I did that is that when I made the orgonite pyramids, I did the whole Mount Shasta thing that happened back in June. And I had one of my orgonite pyramids sitting on my console on the way down there. And my van generally got about 16 miles a gallon. Mm-hmm. And when I figured out the fuel mileage that I got on the way down there, my fuel mileage, just because I had the orgonite pyramid in the van, jumped to 22.
Well, I got to say something, Tony. We've been talking about intention here on the show, and we talk about using intention to program the crystal. I'll tell you, these devices are certainly sensitive and receptive to intention. So, in other words, if you're using one in your car, if you understand and you believe in the technology and you're putting out the intention that this is going to save you gas and wonderful things are going to happen, you will save gas. That's the way it works. And by the same token, if you're putting out all sorts of negative vibes and you're saying, oh, this is a scam, it's not going to work, why did I waste my money on this? It ain't going to work. So intention is extremely powerful.
Yes, and oh man, so much to say. So one of the things that I found really, really remarkable, I'm just a regular Joe. I have no special abilities other than a very intense intellectual curiosity. When I got put on disability about 9 years ago, I ended up having a lot of time on my hands. And I started digging into things that I'd been curious about and getting a little more computer savvy, which I resisted intensely for a very long time. I didn't want anything to do with computers or anything like that, but again, this is kind of the organizing in my life that has just led me on this remarkable path that I never really said, this is what I want to do, I want to go in this direction and get all this information. I just kind of took where I went where everything was taking me. And when I was doing my research, it originally started with the UFO phenomena. And I had already learned back in high school in 1978-79 that I had read a couple of different books about the phenomena, and what really was important about this is that as a child, sitting out on the front lawn in Sandpoint, Idaho, this is before all kinds of street lights were showing up everywhere. This is like in 1965. I would lay on the grass looking at the stars, because you could do that back in those days. There weren't many street lights. And I wondered what the, in quotation marks, others were doing out there. So I already had a consciousness that we were not alone. And back in high school, when I started researching UFO phenomena, is that I was astonished by some of these older books that were in the library that were quoting high-ranking military people who were career military people, high-ranking, highly decorated. And they were speaking of this stuff. So even as a teen, I'm going, here's the logic here, is that people who are career in the military, high-ranking, highly decorated, wouldn't be talking crazy stuff and destroying their careers and everything that they worked for through duty and honor and service to country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense. So I was convinced at that point that this was real. There's quite an amount of evidence to this. So that was kind of gratifying, and just doing the research back then. So spin up to about 2005, I guess. I'm re-diving into this and realizing and absolutely astonished at the amount of evidence that is so overwhelming. It really frustrates me. And I experience this with my own family when I speak of this stuff, and I don't do it very often. I get my dad rolling his eyes and mom not really wanting to talk about it, and everybody wanders off. And what I realized is that as I was diving into this information and material, there were certain things that would show up in the periphery all the time. Deep black military projects, MK Ultra, Project Monarch, Project Popeye. So I would follow that lead and go down that trail and exhaust it. And this is how I got all this information that I carry around with me today. And it has been a daunting task, because I have to tell you, before I became a radio show host at the beginning of this year, I felt absolutely isolated and alone. And what was remarkable about becoming a radio show host, I actually had a dream several months before, which didn't make any sense to me. And that is that I was in a building, and the building came off the ground, and people were panicking, running all over the place. And for whatever reason, in this dream, I came back to the ground in a bus full of people. And I got out of the bus. People are following me out of the bus. And approximately about a quarter of the people were gathered around me, while the rest of the 3/4 of the people were just looking around, very puzzled, very confused. And the people who were around me were asking me, what's wrong with them? Why can't we wake them up? And I said to them, they don't want to wake up. They can't. Leave them alone. And what was interesting about this is that the people that were gathered around me, we went out to this pasture-like area, and there was this trailer there, like a regular tow behind your vehicle trailer. It was kind of like an Airstream trailer. And we get in this trailer, we're gathered around this table, and there's this radio there. And as we're listening to the radio, I open up my mouth, and all these symbols are falling out of my mouth. Now, back in last November, it was about last November, I had no clue what any of this meant, but I had started dream journaling. And so I wrote this down and drew a couple of the symbols that I saw. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense. There was a bunch of them that were triangles. One was literally the medicine wheel sign for the First Nations. I don't call them Native Americans because they're not Americans. They're the First Nations peoples, the Aboriginals of this continent. So that medicine wheel became really important later on when I saw it in a video and I went, oh my God, that's what was coming out of my mouth. And then I'm starting to look into orgonite, and I'm thinking, you know what would be really cool with the orgonite, because I'd made a couple of little pieces, I wasn't really happy with them, is that make them into pyramids. Because I had done a great deal of research into ancient Egypt. And one of the things that I was noticing about other orgonite pyramids that I was seeing on the net and YouTube and so forth is that they were all using what seemed to me the wrong geometry. And I knew that with the ancient pyramids, there was sacred geometry embedded in every aspect of those pyramids. It is remarkable what the information encoded in those pyramids. Nothing on those pyramids and within those pyramids is by accident. It's all very exact, and it encodes a remarkable amount of information, not only about energy, but the holographic universe, and also this planet, and also this solar system. And these numbers just keep coming up over and over again as they look at the numbers and measurements within the pyramids. It's all encoded, and it is absolutely mind-blowing remarkable what's within the geometry and the measurements of the pyramids, like the circumference of the planet, the planet's rotation, the speed of light, the distance we are away from the sun, the distance the way the other planets are away from the sun. Also, the what is the Merkaba and how that works, and the information embedded in the Merkaba. So
I'm not too into that Merkaba. Sorry.
Okay, but it's still the
we can
information.
talk about that, though.
Yeah, the information and the numbers are embedded in all this stuff with the pyramid, which I just find remarkable. And again, I would like people to understand, I take all of this, all the research that I've ever done over 9 years, doing it anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day, I take all of it with a grain of salt. Because what I've learned is that everything we've been taught and told, and this is up to this moment today.
I want to suggest that this is Atlantean technology.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I think that if we could get millions of people to start experimenting, doing their orgone like you're doing with the shapes, different types of wire winding combinations and whatnot, sooner or later we're gonna discover some keys here to energy. And I know I was messing around quite a bit with alternative 0 point energy sources, and I get downloads, I get messages, and I was messing around a lot with silver and crystals, and they freaked out. I dipped some crystals in silver, and I had phase shifters. I had Men in Black in my garage afterwards. So yeah, the closer you get to this stuff, the more. I mean, they threw Wilhelm Reich in jail for a reason.
Yes.
They don't want us doing this.
Yeah, and he died there, by the way, for those who don't
very
know.
unfortunate. So, yeah, all of you that don't know who Wilhelm Reich is, R-E-I-C-H, Google him. You want to learn about him. You want to learn about, if you want to understand all of this stuff, and this is why they don't teach this in school. You need to study Tesla. You need to study Wilhelm Reich. You need to study Victor Schauberger. Yeah,
Yes.
Those are the three biggies.
Yes.
And then...
One thing I'd like to say, one thing I'd like to say is, Tony, when you're going by how old the pyramids are, and the geometry, and the so-called epic of the Earth, how it was a smaller. It's supposedly the globe of it has expanded, and it's isn't that some theory that the Earth has gradually gotten bigger as a planet?
Again, I take this with a grain of salt. I actually don't doubt the information, but I need more evidence. And here's the problem with that, is that we can't trust anything that comes out of NASA.
or anything like that. I hear you.
Yeah. So how do you gather that evidence? And this is something I learned from Carrie at Project Camelot, is that when I was really diving into her material, she talked about cross-correlation and triangulation from independent areas of research or independent areas that end up saying exactly the same information. When that happens twice, there's probably some credence to it. When it happens 3 times, there's probably truth there. And again, we all need to do our own research, and this is what I'm really encouraging people to do. Don't believe anything that we say, anything that we're talking about. Do your own research and then come back and let's compare notes. Because
That's right.
assure you, I missed something. Guaranteed, I missed something.
Tony, I got to jump in here real quick, just for a second. I want to point out, everybody, that we've only got about 30 minutes left on this roundtable. Wow, that went quick, huh?
Yeah.
We also have another person that joined us, Wingman. You want to say hello?
Yeah. Hello.
Are you another host, or are you a listener? Or introduce yourself, please.
No, I just love my roundtables. I'm a listener. I don't have the balls and the commitment to be a host. I think it takes a lot of balls to be a host, and I haven't got them.
Oh, so, thank you. We sit on pillows. Hey, I gotta say, you guys, I want to give you all credit for being here and helping me out and being with me here tonight, because I've only been on this network now for a couple months now, something like that.
Yeah.
And you've all been very gracious of welcoming me in here, and it's really good to be part of this network. So I just want to let you guys know that I certainly appreciate all you guys' support and holding my hand and helping us grow this network.
Steve, you don't sit on, you float, brother.
And Stephen, I just have to tell you is that I've watched a number of your interviews before you became a radio show host, and I knew that somehow, some way, you were going to end up being on air. I didn't know where or how, but because of your experience, which is the only thing we get to take with us, folks, and that's why we're here, is for the experience, is that you have been in some research that I found remarkable, and this is why I've really, really wanted to get in touch with you, and I was actually going to do that through Cindy Vandruff, and she had promised that, but her life kind of went sideways for a while recently, and that just didn't happen. And the thing is that because of your work with crystals and what you had shared, which was just little tidbits here and there, is that I know you have some information for me in making my pyramids more powerful. So we can talk about that later, but
yeah. Well, we're all here to help each other, right?
Right. And share this information and kind of put all these pieces together so we can free ourselves of this psychopathic network. And it's going to take all of us together to do that.
And that's why we're doing this.
Right. And one of the things that, and we're way sidetracked from where I originally was, but one of the things, and I just can't express this enough, and maybe I'm full of baloney, but I feel there has to be, we need to forget about government and all the other machinations. There is no enemy outside of the U.S. All of this stuff is being controlled by the financial psychopaths. There needs to be laser focus on the financial network on this planet, and we need to deconstruct it. Until then, we're screwed.
Well, if I can come in there, if I may, one of the problems is that investigative journalism is no longer a deterrent. So I think people need to start being more and more vigilant about what's happening around them and actually follow stories up and actually, for example, there was a shooting in Dallas by a Dallas cop. I don't know if you guys mentioned this earlier. A Dallas cop openly shot, there was 2 of them, but I think one of the culprits, and Officer Spencer, openly shot a guy who was in a chair, just spinning around in a chair in his front yard, and then he got up, and then the officer drew his gun, and the guy was as still as a stick. The officer was about 10 meters away from him, and shot him several times.
Yeah, mentally disabled guy.
Well, he stood up, so he wasn't that disabled, but schizophrenic, yeah.
Well, I mean, he was, I don't want to use the word retarded.
I couldn't care less whether he was schizophrenic or had 3 heads. He did nothing to justify being shot.
Well, those cops didn't realize that there was a security camera filming the whole thing.
Probably right. You're probably right. But the point in relation to what Tony was saying is that people need to be more vigilant and, call up the police station, the Dallas police station. Ask what's happening. Ask that you want justice. Ask what is their procedures. Ask have they ask questions. How often are the officers trained with regards to conflict scenarios? What are they meant to do? Why wasn't that officer following the line of the law? Why wasn't when was the last time that officer was trained? How many other officers will follow similar procedures or do the similar things, and so on and so forth, and get on these guys' cases, whether it be a corporation or a police.
You realize
police
that what you're describing is a policy that's becoming widespread. I mean, just look at all the animals that are getting shot. If somebody lets their dog out of the house, watch out. I mean, if I see a cop anywhere and I'm out walking the dog, I'm going to go in the other direction. I mean, these guys are going out of their way to shoot animals. It's just crazy.
Because there's no pressure coming down on them, and we're the pressure. If no one's pressurizing these guys, they'll do what they want.
Well, that's what we're here on this Revolution Radio for, to reach out to people and try to point them in the right direction. But it's all about peace, though. Let's not threaten these guys with guns. Let's love them into the right direction.
Well, yeah, no, putting a dandelion in the barrel of a gun isn't going to solve anything. I'm sorry, it isn't. Now, I'm not advocating violence.
Shooting back.
But I'm also not advocating violence, Sometimes you have to use force with force. If there's a bully in the playground, my experience was thump the bully on your first or second day, you'll never get hassled again, if he picks on you kind of thing.
Well, let me give you an example.
Sometimes force works.
Peaceful way to do it. Our words can stop this. We stopped a war in Syria.
Absolutely.
That was us. Okay?
Bingo.
That was us. We did that.
Keyboard warriors.
That's right. We did not use guns. And I hear people saying, they say the bully beats you up in the alley, your laptop is not going to save you. Well, guess what? We stopped a war.
Well, yeah, but ultimately, throwing your laptop at someone in a position of power isn't going to do anything. Because if you want to remove someone from a position of power, you have to escort them at least by the arm, or forcibly remove them. Well, you need at some point some kind of force, whether it be a weapon or forcibly removing someone.
I disagree.
You can't ask someone to leave their office. Excuse me, sir, can you leave? Can you not do that, sir? They just ignore you.
Well, no.
Let me throw something in there real quick that I learned while I was a kid, and I was probably about 10 years old. There used to be a bully in the school. He'd come out. Everybody would run. I got so sick of it one time. I just stood there. I dropped my books and gave him a look like, come on. And he walked away.
Well, yeah, that's, that come on is an element of force as well,
We're talking about psychic skill here, and we're talking about using our minds and our psychic skill to modify reality. And I'll tell you,
there you go.
The first thing that happens, the most powerful thing that happens when you start developing your psychic skill is your power of influence. And that is what they are afraid of. That's why they're doing the drones. That's why they're coming up with all these cyborg things, because they know that our power to influence the guy with the gun is increasing exponentially. And one of these days, it's the 100 monkey effect. We're all going to wake up, and those goons and thugs that are protecting the elite, they're going to wake up too, and they're going to say, "What in the heck am I doing, pointing my gun at this guy?"
I'm sorry, Steve. That guy who got shot by the Dallas police, he was probably more psychic than most, being schizophrenic. And look where he got him.
It's the power of the masses.
The problem is, though, Wingman, you spread stories like this. Okay, yeah, death is bad. Life is a bad thing to lose. It's not great. But you sit there and you spread these one-incident stories.
There's not
around
one
the world
incident.
of
There's hundreds of them. There's thousands of them.
Yeah, but spreading
Time and time. Look at you. You had the Dallas, the DC example.
You're just fear-mongering. You're no better than the
No, I'm not.
evening news.
Whoa.
You're
I'm
no
not
better
fear-mongering.
than the
I am
evening
not
news saying a
fear-mongering.
dog got shot
I
down
am
the
not
block
fear-mongering.
tonight.
I
A woman
empower
got
people.
raped.
And I try to empower people. And what I'm saying here is that this is just another example of being a pushover. And I'm fed up of people being pushovers. I'm fed up of people not standing up for what they need to stand up for, because what happens is that line is pushed and pushed and pushed by the authorities, so that you get to a stage where before you know it, you're in a police state, you know?
You
And
can't
you have a
shoot the
dictatorship.
cops.
But who said that?
Shoot the cops.
Did
What
I
are you gonna do?
actually say that?
All right, but you're talking about using our voices to complain, and I just said that our voices are the tool. So yes, our power of influence in our voice is what is going to make them stop doing it.
I'm saying we need to push back a little bit more.
And we're going to
than
do
we
it with
are.
our voices. We're not going to do it with our guns and our fists. We're going to do it with our voices.
Right, and if your voices doesn't work, then I'm saying force is okay. Don't be shy of force. Why is everyone so shy of force?
You're not going to get anywhere.
Because that's what they want.
No,
They
because
want-
you're
they
pushovers,
want
and that's what
force
that's
and
not you personally.
resistance.
We've already
They want-
proved
The
it.
American people are scared, right?
No,
They're
we're
scared
not.
to
We're
use
just
force.
waiting. We're patient.
No, they're scared. They've been because there's been systematically made to feel that way. I've talked the amount of people I've talked to, the amount of Americans I've talked to that are petrified of saying anything, that might get them in trouble. That they're petrified of calling the police station because they're worried the FBI are going to come round. It's the fear mongering's not coming from me. It's coming from the administration and the police departments and the FBI and the CIA and the NSA.
Hey, it's the fear that takes away our power, and they
That's
want to
right.
promote that. We have the power, and as soon as we are not fearful of them, as soon as we become humble and our powers and our voices are going to become stronger. So,
But the police are still continuing to murder people.
they are afraid of us. Trust
Well,
me,
it look
they are
like it.
afraid of us. Dude, I worked in the law enforcement business for 20-something years, and I'll tell you, I've seen both sides of the coin. When they come into my shop, it's like Disneyland, and I'm their best buddy. But out on the street, it's us against them. And
Maybe they're too afraid. then.
They're
That's the
humans.
problem.
They want to go home at night. They don't want to die. They want to go home at night. They want to have vacations. They want to do all this stuff. They want to retire. They don't want to die. That's why they are so gung-ho to shoot. And I'll tell you, we have the power, and it's growing every day, and that is why the powers that be are going to robots, they're going to drones, and they're going to guys in bunkers to bomb people because they know that human on human is not going to work anymore. That's changing.
Right. So I think this is really important because you said a couple of things. What is our voice? It's frequency and vibration. We live in an energetic universe. There's actually very little matter in the universe. And when you get into Greg Braden's work, and also who was the Asian guy who did the work with water?
Dr. Emoto.
Dr. Emoto, is that what is remarkable about our beings is that everything is energy in the universe. And if that's the case, one of the things that was found out quite some time ago, you can literally change an atom simply through electromagnetism. And back in the 60s, science was telling us all the actions in the brain. It's electric and it's magnetic, electromagnetic, and that's where the action's at. And then they started doing studies on that. And what they found, according to Greg Braden, is that the heart is actually 1,000 times more powerful electrically and 100 times more powerful magnetically. So taking that information, just basic information, and I have personal experience with this, that my reality, literally my reality, my circumstances in my life changed when I changed my heart and the frequency it was putting out. Instead of living in a constant state of fear, what I started projecting through my heart space out into the reality around me was love and acceptance, non-judgment. And
that's right.
Literally, it took a couple of years, granted, but my physical surroundings, my life, my circumstances profoundly changed. And so you understand how powerful this was for me. I was a gutter drunk living on the streets of Seattle, trying to drink myself to death. I was remarkably unsuccessful in doing that. That's the only reason I'm here. I failed. But I ended up in a group of people who really had some great wisdom and gave me a spiritual toolkit in order that I could recover from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Now, I haven't had a drink for 17 years, but that's not what's important. What's important is they taught me how to use this spiritual toolkit of acceptance, non-judgment, love, and it changed my reality. It changed my circumstances. It changed literally, physically, where I was living, the things I was doing. And the reason that happened, it started in the heart, and realizing that I was accountable and responsible for every single thing that ever happened to me in my life. I created it because I was spiritually misaligned.
That's the answer. That is the answer to everything.
That's what this is all about. This is a
right.
spiritual
Right.
war, and your spirit weakens when you start judging and putting labels on everybody else.
And living in
anger
fear.
and fear.
Right.
Right.
And so this is what's really important, because people automatically throw this up in my face, is that, well, fear keeps you from getting hunted by the bear and run over by the bus. And I'm going to stop. I'm not talking about instinctual fear. That's keeps
danger.
you alive. It's good. Yes, there's a nice little clip that's played all the time, is that the instinctual fear keeps us alive. That's good. The problem is the egoic fear. And ego, until it's adjusted and cleansed, is always about fear, domination, and control. And when you really want to break it down so people can really understand this on a fundamental, basic level, the ego is all about one of two buckets, sometimes both buckets, is that I'm not going to get what I want, or I'm afraid something is going to be taken from me. When we are driven by that form of fear, which manifests in hundreds of ways, it's always selfish and self-centered. And when you're trying to take from the surrounding around you, that kind of energy you're putting out into the world, guess what? The world will take from you. The universe is a mirror. It's an energetic mirror. What you put out, you will get back. It's trying to show you this is what you're doing to your world. Stop.
Tony,
Adjust yourself.
let me jump in here real quick.
Yes.
Okay, you guys, we're down to we're almost here, about to hit 10 minutes. So before we start hearing music and we start talking into the music, I just want to say a couple things real fast. Again, listener-supported radio. You guys got to go to the support us button and help us out. Everything helps. There's lots of cool things that they've got, that Nighthawk has got for people that donate money. We've all got shows, half of us here. Before we sign off, I want everybody to tell us what day and what time your show is on. Mine is going to be this Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be a great show. Again, and I also want everybody to join the Facebook page. If you've not gone to that, that's facebook.com/Freedom Slips. Just in time, when is your show? What day and what time is your show? Are you muted? You got a show, right? Tell us about it.
That's not funny.
All right, Jared Bear, he's not talking.
Hilarious.
When's your show? You got a show, right?
Oh, I'm a producer here, and I try to help everybody out in the chat and stuff. So, no, I don't have a show. I just kind of do a roundtable now and then. But I am producing for Eric Blood. I can't recall the name of his show, but he's a great guy from California, and he's talked about a lot of things. His show is tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Studio B.
All right. Ron, you got a show, right?
Oh, no, my mother has a show.
Your mother has a show. What's
Lady Horse.
Well, go ahead. Oh, Lady Horse. We'll plug her
Touch
show.
of
What's her
Country.
show on?
Touch of Country.
All right. Tony, you're not on this network. You're on another network?
Yes, I'm on Wolf Spirit Radio.
All right. We'll let you plug Wolf Spirit. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. My show is called Spirit Quest, and it's on every Friday afternoon, 1 to 3 Pacific time.
All right. Thank you for that.
No, I don't have any shows.
We're gonna get back into this here real quick, but I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I want to thank everybody that's listening for tuning in and staying up late with us. It was a lot of fun. This is my first roundtable that I had tried to manage, and I want to thank you guys in the chat room, for hanging out with us. Okay, back at it.
One quick thing. Wolf Spirit Radio is an affiliate to Revolution Radio, so we're all in a little community.
Right. That's good. Okay,
Yes, Dave Corso works with Nighthawk all the time.
Okay, let's try to keep it short, you guys, because we are running out of time. So let's short statements.
If I can just come in relation to what Tony said. Firstly, congratulations on turning your life around, Tony. That's obviously excellent. But I just want to say this with regards to tyrants and in the face of tyranny. Love and light and hugs and all that jazz has its place, and I would like to see more people being fearless, to be honest, and not being afraid to challenge, and not being afraid to challenge authority, because this is how they operate.
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
My God, and the people being fearful. No, but we can do more.
Wingman, do you realize that
we can do
I'm
more?
risking my life
people can
being
do
on this
more
video right now?
The people can do more.
That's
what I'm
where
saying.
your weakness is. You want it to be physical.
There's always something more that
You want
people
it
can
to
do.
be materialistic. You want it to be physical. That's where your weakness is.
I haven't said it has to be physical, but at some point it might need to be physical, yes. We live in a 3D physical world just in time.
Right. Wingman,
This is
also,
facts.
I think that it's very important to understand is that we've all been programmed and hypnotized, dumbed down, seriously messed with. And we're all trying to undo this a little bit at a time. This is not going to happen overnight. And I totally understand where you're coming from, but that's the old paradigm, is fight the good fight. That's what they want us to do. And guess what? It doesn't work. It hasn't changed anything in this progression of the fascist police state. Fighting against
We need
it.
to
And
try
this
something,
is
Tony.
one of the
anything,
things that
as long as we all do it at the same time, As long as we all do something, anything. I don't really care what it is, as long as the people get together on the same page
We
and do
did it
it.
with Syria. We're working on it. Calm down, brother.
I know I'm getting frustrated, Jay. I want the love and light side of things,
All right.
and I want us to be free to
We do
explore that
appreciate
side
you
of
joining
things.
us, but we're going to have to end this.
God bless you guys.
Okay.
We're not done with the show yet, but Wingman, thanks for joining us. I want to give the hosts a little bit more time. Obviously, the love and light is what it's all about. That's what we're trying to push, and we're working very hard. This is what our network is all about. Is we're working very hard to energize, mobilize, wake up, and educate, and that's what it's all about. Education is the tool. Truth is our weapon. Truth is our weapon. That's what we're here for. We don't need to get out and tell people to get guns and start shooting at the cops and shooting at the Secret Service or whoever. That's not where it's at. And let me tell you something. When I was dealing with these CIA, NSA, Templar, Caver guys in their bunkers, you know what they used? They used psychic skills. And they think that we're all a bunch of dumb animals because we're not doing it. So I'll tell you, they're way ahead of us. So if you want to catch up to the bad guys, you got to wake up, you got to lose the fear, you got to enhance your spiritual energy, and that's going to change the world. And if I can teach people to do that, that is my mission. I'm not going to go out and tell everybody to buy guns. If they want to shoot guns for fun, that's great. It's a great form of entertainment. But increasing your psychic skill and learning how to use your spiritual abilities, that's where it's at. And that's what's going to save us.
Spiritual war.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I found so interesting as I was going through my research, and I had this moment of epiphany at about 6 years when I stood back and I looked at all the material I went through and realized that there was these advanced civilizations thousands of years ago that were doing things we cannot do today. So what my conclusion was is that, holy crap, we de-evolved. And how in the world, how in the hell is it that there has been this domination and control mechanism that has hidden this technology, this spiritual ability from the masses for so long? And why would they do that? And this is just my conclusion, is that they are stark, raving, insanely frightened of our power. This is why the secret societies have taken this information
what are we
and kept
supposed
it
to do?
very,
I'm gonna
very
fight
because I'm used to it. The rest of you are going to have a tougher choice. And look, I don't want to sell it to you. It's too ugly for that. And it's ugly and it's hard. But when you're fighting in your own backyard, you're fighting for your family. It all hurts a little less and it makes a little more sense. But for us, this is our home. Even the tiniest flea can drive a big dog crazy. So the first thing we have to do is learn how to work together. Become a unit. And that's going to take some time. So we're going to have to evolve. Rewire our reflexes. Learn new skills and adapt old ones. So we'll find people we can trust. Friends with their ears to the ground who can help us get the things we need to fight back. Watch what they do. Study their tactics, their routines. The more we know, the easier it will be to hurt them. But we'll need to be smart, and we'll need to be patient. We'll hit them on our terms. When we're good and ready. We inherited our freedom. Now it's up to all of us to fight for it.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, where the fight begins and information never sleeps.
Most guys freeze. That's your cerebral cortex looking for an answer it doesn't have.
See? Even your brain knows you're screwed.
The body's filling with adrenaline right now, whether you know it or not. Your heart's beating fast. It's getting a little harder to breathe. The neurobiological system is telling it to run, but your knees are too weak to move.
Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. That is near insanity. Do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. We are all telling ourselves a story.
You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. 100% listener-supported radio. Reporting the danger, unafraid. Right here, where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
This is Jim Fetzer inviting you to call into Non-Random Thoughts on Revolution Radio Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll all begin with thoughts about the day's events and then invite callers about JFK, 9/11, Senator Paul Wellstone, Sandy Hook, the Boston bombing, Syria, NSA surveillance, Obama, McCain, you name it, I'll take it. This is a show for you to ask questions of me about some of the most complex and controversial issues of our day. I'm looking forward to it, and especially to hearing from you.
That's right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Studio B, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays. Be there, where information never sleeps.
Re-verify our range to target.
This incredible race of beings does have a future, and it is in the